Hello and welcome to the Beaties Part 5. I'm having a really hard time believing you stuck around this long. I mean, it's not even that funny. It really isn't. It's kind of ridiculous. It's pointless stuff. It's just jibber jabber. So in this episode, we are going to answer your questions that you've emailed, that you posted replies to, or commented on the blog. And we're finally going to get to answering some of your questions. Because you matter. The people matter. Well, it's not special. So our very first question comes from Muddy Puppy in the great state of Michigan, and he writes, I pee constantly. Is that a sign of the diabetes, or am I just getting old? Well, my first response to that would be, if you're peeing a lot, you're in trouble. You're in trouble. Oh gosh, that was just a perfect setup. But in all reality, frequent urination is a sign of your body trying to get rid of excess glucose in your blood, and it is kind of hard on your kidneys. So if you're peeing and it smells like blue raspberry snow cone flavoring, I'd say you probably have a little too much sugar in your urine. Question number 2. Hutch from Quincy, Illinois writes, what are the chances your kids will get the beaties? You know, doctors used to think that diabetes would skip a generation, and recently they're kind of proven that not to be true, although I would say that if you have the history of diabetes in your family, you should get checked out. The only other guarantee you have is if maybe one of your brothers or sisters is actually named Diabetes. Tina, Jimmy, Diabetes, come on, wash your hands for supper! In which case I'd say you just have a really cool mom and dad. Question number 3, Benji from Columbus, Ohio writes, can your insulin pump sync with iTunes? Great question, Benji. The answer is yes. However, it only plays Barry White music, which really comes in handy when it's business time.
I've heard people say that too much of anything is not good for you, baby. But I don't know about that.
Question number 4, Annie B from Ohio writes, what do you do with all your old used needles? You see, Annie, every year I send in all my old used needles to the Ronco Candy Company, where they put it back into Halloween candy nationwide, and their motto is, Ronco Candy, a surprise in every bite. Actually, state law requires that you put all of your old needles into a sharps container and dispose of it properly, which actually includes incineration, so don't just throw them into the trash, that's bad. Question number 5, Amber from Arkansas writes, can diabetes make you smell weird? Sometimes when a diabetic has high blood sugar, their body is trying to process all the extra glucose running through their system, and when they sweat, they will actually secrete a sweet smell. So yes, sometimes you can smell weird. But odds are that's probably just the mayonnaise you're smelling, and that's another video entirely. Question number 6, Daniel from San Diego asks, what is the worst thing about having diabetes? Well, Daniel, what's not to love about diabetes? I mean, everybody's doing it! Mario from Santa Fe writes, what does it feel like when your blood sugar is low? Well, Mario, when I bite into a diabetes peppermint patty, it's like I'm on the mountaintop, skiing down a steep slope. The wind is rustling through my hair. Snowflakes are dancing on my nose. It sucks. It sucks. When your blood sugar is low, you tend to sweat a lot, you're jittery and nervous. Sometimes I actually see white spots in my eyes. Your heart can race really, really fast, and you have a hard time concentrating. Sometimes you just tend to trail off in the middle of a conversation, almost as if nothing ever really happened, and people don't really understand what it is. Question number 8. My mom, Carol from Ohio writes, why didn't you finish college? You're just a big disappointment. Seriously, Mom, why would I go and get a computer technology degree when I could just become an instant success here on the internet? It's the internets, Mom. It's the world wide webs, okay? It's .com.
/.dash.slash.dash.slash.dash.com. .com.
Question number 9. Johnny from Seattle writes, could you define diabetes in just one sentence? Are you challenging me, Johnny? You challenging me? You calling me out? Is that what you're doing? You're just going to call me out here? First my mom, now this? This is what you want to do in front of everybody? Okay, I'll do this. Johnny, I'd say diabetes is like flying an airplane with little to no navigation, and the only thing that you can see is what's behind you. You have no idea what's ahead of you. And everything that you see behind you is about 15 minutes late. And the only two options you have are navigating by feel alone. And if you go too low, you'll crash and burn. And if you go too high, you'll get altitude sickness, and over time, eventually lose your mind.
Hey, Rita, get the kids and get in here. Neil finally said something halfway intelligent. I don't know what he said, but he's talking about airplanes. Bring me a beer, too.
And now you know, because knowing is half the battle.
G.I. Joe!
Well, that about wraps up the Bee Gees Part 5. Join us next time at Part 6 when we show you how to put in an insulin pump and inject a catheter into your stomach.
La 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 la.